A Denver man attending the University of Chicago died Sunday. He was riding the train when he was shot, and police say he was not the target here. His friend spoke today with Denver 7's Patrick Perez on the person we have lost and the promise that will go unfulfilled.
Listen, man, I only do a drop in the bucket of these stories, okay? A drop in the bucket. So many promising lives. I mean, just last week we had the football mom raised her son up to go to the Naval Academy, takes him there for his pledge, where they give the little oath before they start their freshman year. She's on a rooftop balcony chilling with a bunch of other parents who brought their kids there, and some fools down the street arguing over a traffic dispute start shooting. And the bullet comes all the way up the block, 2 blocks up, down, 1 story up, and hits her. The executive director at the Peace Corps, out to dinner with his wife, just leaving the restaurant, walking to the car. Some fools sneaking up on some other black people to kill him. Not accidentally, miss and hit him. Because they shoot anyway. They don't care who they shoot. It would be an accident if they cared. They don't care who they hit. And now this story, and I promise you this is a drop in the bucket, because this happens in the hood every day. People in the hood get hit with strays all the time and killed. People in the stand, the Sun Belt, whatever you want to call it, they're always getting hit with stray bullets. They're always getting killed like this. However, those people live in that environment. They accept that environment. Yes, there are those who can't afford to leave. Yes, the ghetto is like quicksand. It's hard to get out. But those people are about that. Those people going to yell at the police and scream at the police when the police show up. Those people make excuses for the thuggery that goes on in their neighborhood many times. Many of those people are terrified, they're scared. They have to live that. But nevertheless, they're from there. That's their life. That's their lot in life. But these people, man, riding the train. This kid's just on the train riding, thinking about class, probably studying, or texting with some girl, or thinking about a girl because he's a young man. Probably got some crush on some girl, or maybe some young girl he's dating. On his way to class, living out his dreams. Came from Denver to Chicago. He's seen some sketchy stuff, because University of Chicago students get preyed on all the time by local thugs. They get robbed and, harassed and hit in the crossfire. It's very common for these kids to get shot by stray bullets, or to just be shot during robberies. So this is not the first time this happened. This is the latest time this has happened. This happens to students at the University of Chicago. This happens to students at a lot of schools in Chicago, colleges. And there's nothing that they can do about it. There's no matter of street smarts. It's thousands of these kids. These are good kids. You can't drop a good kid into this and expect to teach him some street smart. Street smarts I learned over the years. And even street smarts don't help you, because of the 800 people that get shot and killed in Chicago every year, I'm telling you, the 750 of them are scholastic, honor roll, Rhodes Scholars and street smarts.
A Denver man attending the University of Chicago died Sunday. He was riding the train when he was shot, and police say he was not the target here. His friend spoke today with Denver 7's Patrick Perez on the person we have lost and the promise that will go unfulfilled.
At just 20 years old, Denver native Max Lewis became another victim of gun violence on Chicago streets.
He was incredibly special, and he was brave till the very end.
His friends say he was riding home on a train from an internship Thursday in downtown Chicago when a stray bullet struck him.
I was told Max was shot, and he was shot in the neck, and it was really bad.
Zachary Kogan and several of Max's friends rushed to the hospital where, for 3 days, Max fought for his life. He died from his injuries Sunday, his family and friends by his side.
This kid wanted to live. He fought for his life. He had a lot to live for. You know, when Nipsey passed, they interviewed the doctor who the surgeon who was performing on him when he was brought to the hospital. And the surgeon said he'd never seen someone fight for their life as hard as Nipsey did. And this is a doctor, a surgeon in Los Angeles, the gang capital of the world, who just, like, if you work at a hospital in Los Angeles, I mean, you've seen, it's like working in a hospital in a war zone, a MASH unit. He said he'd never seen anyone fight that hard for their life as Nipsey did. And what that made me think was, that was a brother who, it wasn't his time. Whatever conversation led up to whatever and all that stuff, that's beside the point. It wasn't his time. But that's how life is. It's life. This guy fought for 3 days. To live. It wasn't his time. It wasn't supposed to end like this. This is not the way it was supposed to be. This is a glitch. Something, nah, what? No, this ain't how it's supposed to be. Kid fought for 3 days. Bullet wound to the neck. A massive bullet wound to the neck. Fought for 3 days. Before he succumbed to his injuries. It wasn't supposed to be like this. This wasn't supposed to happen. And although this kid wasn't hood, and he didn't come from the gutter and all that stuff, he was a tough kid. He wanted to live. So, I mean, God, dog, man.
Zachary Kogan and several of Max's friends rushed to the hospital where, for 3 days, Max fought for his life. He died from his injuries Sunday, his family and friends by his side.
I couldn't think of a bad thing to say about Max. Like, there's just nothing that comes to mind.
Max was a student at the University of Chicago, a double major in economics and computer science, and a member of the Alpha Epsilon Pi fraternity.
He embraced the outdoors. Like, his Denver roots were so prominent, and he loved Chicago. He loved the city life.
Max graduated from Kent Denver School in Englewood in 2019.
You hear this kid say Max loves Chicago and he loved the city life. And you're probably like, Chicago? But let me tell you something. Many of you guys that saw the video I did yesterday, the war report basically on 4th of July. If you saw that video, hit 1. We went over all that happened in our great nation on July 4th weekend. There's 3 Chicagos. There's the Chicago, Blackistan, there's the Barrio, and then there's White Chicago. And there's a lot of great things and fun things to do. I could see how this kid could love Chicago. Don't think Chicago is just all what we do, us, and the way we behave there. Because even all of us don't act like that in Chicago. Chicago's a great town, man. And if you removed us from the equation, it would probably be one of the greatest cities on the planet. We dragging Chicago down, man. It's a great town. Great amenities. Great museums. Parks. Shopping, nightlife, architecture, history. Then you got us dragging it down.
He embraced the outdoors. Like, his Denver roots were so prominent, and he loved Chicago. He loved the city life.
Max graduated from Kent Denver School in Englewood in 2019. In a statement, the head of school, Dr. Rand Harrington, said, in part, Max touched so many lives at our school and made a deep and positive impact on all who he met. Max was an extraordinary young man with so much to offer the world. He will be deeply missed. At least 80 people were shot this weekend in Chicago.
Chicago has so much gun violence, like every city. It's so senseless.
Now, Zachary is calling on city leaders to take action and prevent tragedies like this one.
I can't lose another friend to gun violence.
Bro, yes you can. Yes you can. Listen, do you know how many people, and I'm not even trying to act like I'm some kind of thug or like gangster or anything. I'm talking about just from going to school. You know, when you in school, you know people's first name and last name because you went to school with them, you was in class with them. You know how many people who first and last names I know have been murdered? Dozens and dozens. Now think about a guy in Chicago, or a guy in Memphis, or a guy in Baton Rouge, or Florida, a guy in St. Louis, who's from the hood, but he's a student just like this kid. Think about how many people he knows that have been murdered in the projects, lives in the projects, but, you know, wants to go to Bethune-Cookman or something, you know, North Carolina A&T or something. How many people they know? You can lose another friend, my brother. You can lose another friend. Especially if they're traveling through Chicago on public transportation. They're living in the city. You can lose another friend.
Chicago has so much gun violence, like every city. It's so senseless.
Now, Zachary is calling on city leaders to take action and prevent tragedies like this one.
I can't lose another friend to gun violence. I just can't. It's too much.
Patrick Perez, Denver 7.
A Denver community is mourning the loss of a promising college student that was killed by a stray bullet while riding a train in Chicago. Max Lewis graduated from Kent Denver School. He was studying at the University of Chicago. Investigator Rick Sounder joins us live tonight in Cherry Hills Village. So, Rick, what happened?
Well, Karen, he was riding an elevated train through the violence-ridden south side of Chicago. The train stopped at a station and a bullet suddenly came through the window. It happened last Thursday on the south side of Chicago. He was riding what they call the L from an internship back to where he was living. Chicago police indicated he was struck in the back with a stray bullet.
So he's on an elevated train. These guys are just shooting wildly. And that means that the shooting happened a ways away. Because if it happened close by, it wouldn't have been, it would have hit something else before it hit Max. So that means like maybe 3-4 blocks away. Some beef in the south side of Chicago. Dude's just shooting. Bullet found that kid and snuffed his life out. Well, elevated, like, you just got, these kids are just shooting wildly, man. I know they don't care, but no one cares that they don't care.
He was riding what they call the L from an internship back to where he was living. Chicago police indicated he was struck in the back with a stray bullet. Max Lewis was 20 years old and well on his way to a successful career. He had attended the private and prestigious Kent Denver School since he was in 6th grade, graduating in 2019.
He was an extremely, extremely loyal person. That's the quality in Max that I associate the most, and the biggest thing.
Zach Kogan was a best friend and fraternity brother at the University of Chicago. There, Max was to enter his junior year with a double major in economics and computer science.
We were crying with other victims. There was other families there. Chicago has so much gun violence, like every city. It's so senseless. There's so many issues going on.
The head of Kent, who also taught Max, wrote, "Max touched so many lives at our school and made a deep and positive impact on all he met. He was known for his intellect, kindness, and generosity of spirit." A GoFundMe page has been set up and has already raised some $40,000 to help bring friends of Max from Chicago here to Denver for the funeral. Live in Cherry Hills Village, Rick Salinger covering Colorado First.
All right, Rick, thank you. Denver police investigating 5 shootings that happened.
Let's look at this comment section, guys. This guy says, "I live on the south side. On Sunday night, bullets were randomly flying through the air aimlessly. Could have happened to anyone." Yeah, and I get that, but it's still so sad that it happened to that kid. Oh, that he just happened to just come through. This guy says, gun violence in Chicago, it's no different here in Denver. Who you think doing the gun violence in Denver? Give me your best guess on who's doing the gun violence in Denver. Because I've done plenty of stories on this channel. That's why you should subscribe. We've been to Denver plenty of times. Unbelievable.
Comforting hugs and endless stories. That's how friends and classmates are remembering Max Solomon Lewis.
We all cared and loved Max so much, and each memory you have with him, you can't, like, there's no memories you can share that are negative.
In his third year at the University of Chicago, Max was on a Green Line train last Thursday when he's hit by a stray bullet. It came crashing through the window of the train.
Think about that, man. He could have sat anywhere. Think about when you get on the train and where you sit. The doors open, boom, and you scan and you look for a seat. Sometimes there's a lot of seats and you choose one. Maybe you sit here because you don't want to be close to anybody, because it may be a guy sitting in that seat or a woman sitting in this seat, so you sit here. Or you sit there because you like sitting by the window, or you don't want to sit by the window, you want to be facing the inside. So everybody has their reason for where they sit. Or maybe that's the only seat left, but whatever. The one place, just think about that, man. He could have sat anywhere. He sat there. The train could have stopped anywhere. Because you know when they pull into the station, they don't stop at the same spot. They give or take a few feet each time. It's just, but, or if the train was moving when the bullet flew through the window. God. Wow, the randomness and just, brothers is just like, this is what brothers do nowadays. They just send out death. They're just sending death into the atmosphere. Just putting it out there. And whoever it hits, it hits. God. It's like traps. It's like literally like traps. Like, a bear or a deer's walking through the woods and pop, he steps on the trap. It's got him. He's stuck. He can fight and fight and fight, but he's stuck. What we're doing is just, we're all the activists, we're all the rap, where's everybody? Nobody's gonna say nothing about this. Brothers are just shooting. They're just hitting people everywhere. Everywhere. This is a drop in the bucket. So many stories I could have done like this. This is a drop in the bucket of just this type of story.
The University of Chicago, Max was on a Green Line train last Thursday when he's hit by a stray bullet. It came crashing through the window of the train, hitting the 20-year-old in the neck. He died on the 4th of July.
Our city, it's disastrous. It's not just Chicago. It's all over the country.
Zach Kogan is his best friend and roommate.
He did nothing wrong. He wasn't walking into a bad area. He wasn't doing something he shouldn't have done. He was working an internship and took transportation that thousands and millions of people take in the city.
Max was pursuing a double major in economics and computer science. He was
pursuing a double major in economics and computer science. This ain't liberal arts or African American studies. This ain't a major where you gonna graduate and be working at the Gap or you get a degree and you the manager at a TJ Maxx somewhere, this is a real double major degree. Oh my God. Yikes.
Max was pursuing a double major in economics and computer science. He was also very involved in the student community on campus.
Max was one of the most pure, gentle, caring people.
The University of Chicago, in a statement, said it's devastated by the loss of Max. It goes on to say he was a talented student, beloved individual, who will be greatly missed.
Max was the victim of more than gun violence, and things need to change. You know, our culture, our society needs to be different.
Look, white boy, if you ain't gonna spit it out, if you ain't just gonna spit it out, you know who doing the shooting in Chicago. Talking about our culture. You know who's doing all the shooting and all the killing and all the dying. Even in this moment, this white guy has to still talk in code and try to not offend nobody and be extra careful what he said. Even in this moment where his roommate and best friend died a torturous death, fighting for your life for 3 days. A massive gunshot wound to the neck out of nowhere, no warning, just poof. He got a hem and haw and all this. Listen, man. You know and I know, white boy, what's going on. You can't say it. And I'm sure this white guy right here is woke. I'm sure he's woke. You can tell he's woke by the way he's talking. They're even turning woke people. This guy's woke level just went down. His woke meter, his woke tank is empty on E right now. His woke tank will never get back to where it was. They're turning woke people into racists. Because what this guy won't say here, and he's buried in his heart, and he's thinking about in his head, that's going to fester. That's going to boil like a cauldron. And it's going to come out in other ways, not necessarily violence, but it's going to come out in decisions where he decides to live, who he votes for. What he votes for.
I spoke to Max's mother on the phone. She told me her son was an extraordinary young man. She also said that sadly, Chicago's losing a lot of extraordinary young people to gun violence. Meanwhile, Chicago police say this homicide investigation continues. Reporting from Chicago Police Headquarters, I'm Regina Waldron, NBC 5 News.